This is the plaintiff, Carmine DiMaggio. He says he purchased wood from the defendant to use in his house, and the wood had mold on it. Unfortunately, he didn't notice the mold until the wood was already installed. The defendant agreed to refund him for the bad wood, but he refuses to reimburse him for the contractor who installed it and then removed it. He's gone to great expense removing the toxic wood from his house and is suing the defendant for $5,000, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Tony DeVito. He says the plaintiff had damage from Hurricane Sandy, installed the wood in his house, and then noticed mold had grown on it. That's because his basement's already moldy, and those mold spores attached to the lumber he purchased from him. He's been in business a very long time. His lumber is of the highest quality, and he simply doesn't owe the plaintiff a penny. He's accused of lumbering along.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff bought wood from the defendant and says the wood was moldy. But the defendant says the house was already full of mold. It's the case of shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Okay, Mr. DiMaggio, you are suing Richmond Hill Lumber, represented by Tony DeVito. You're the owner?
Yes.
For $5,000 in contractor expenses, supplies from Home Depot, labor to remove wood that you say he sold you, which was moldy, delivery charges, plus punitive damages, because according to you, he supplied you with moldy wood. Tell me what happened.
A little background on the mold. My homeowner's insurance was running out and I had to get homeowner's insurance. So I got in touch with Narragansett Insurance Company. They came down and they sent somebody down to check out the house. They took pictures of the house and they took pictures of the basement. I have the pictures.
And so when they come, they insisted that you do a certain repair to it, which had to do with bringing in wood?
Correct.
So then you ordered the wood from him, and how much wood did you buy from him?
$640 worth of wood.
Okay. And then when the wood comes, do you notice mold on the wood?
When the wood came, it had some black spots on it.
And didn't you notice that?
I noticed that.
So, and your contractor didn't say, hey, this wood looks moldy?
The contractor mentioned it to me about the mold. I says, it can't be mold. I says, it's brand new wood.
So your eyes are telling you it's moldy, the contractor's telling you it's moldy, and you put it up anyway?
I didn't think it was mold.
Okay, so it's up, and now that it's up, what happens? The inspectors come from the insurance company and say, you got mold in your...
You didn't let me finish with the story with the insurance company.
That's not the dispute.
I just want to prove the point that there was no mold in the house before the wood was there.
And you're proving that by?
By pictures that the insurance company took and pictures that were taken after the wood was installed.
Do you know if the insurance company ever tested for airborne mold in your basement?
Nobody checked for mold.
How was your house damaged in Hurricane Sandy? How was the basement in your house damaged in Hurricane Sandy? That's what we're talking about, your basement, right?
I had 7 feet of water in the basement.
Oh, why didn't somebody check for mold before doing new work in it?
There was no mold. I'll show you pictures.
According to you, there's no mold in your basement and no mold on that wood, and yet there's moldy wood.
The molded wood is from the wood I got from him.
Did you sell this man moldy wood?
No.
Well, apparently you took the wood back.
Twice.
Okay, but when you take the wood back the first time, you have eyeballs and you can see the wood. Was the wood moldy?
After he returned it, yes. Used wood was moldy because he had mold in the basement. What happens is the mold attracts to the lumber. It's construction grade lumber.
Which means?
It's wet and it makes it black.
Why did the wood have moisture in it? Because it always does?
Yeah, it always does. Contractors actually like construction grade lumber as opposed to a kiln dried lumber because when you nail it, it doesn't split.
All right, so go on.
At that point, I ordered kiln dried lumber for him that was coming from our distributor at no cost to him. We picked up the used lumber with nails in it, brought it back to our establishment. I had to pay to get rid of it, and then I brought him the kiln dried lumber.
But according to you, from the beginning, you said to him, well, who's going to pay for all the labor I just wasted? Right?
When I found out that the wood had mold on it, I went to see him the same day, and he says, all right, he says, take the wood out, and he says, I'll give you new wood. I says, what about the material that went into it? He says, I don't pay for labor, I don't pay for material.
Okay, and now he replaces the wood with the kiln dry, and then what happens?
So when I got home, everything was said and done. When I got home, I looked at the wood, and I saw black spots on it. It had mold on it. So I called his distributor, Bert right away. And Bert says, I told him to come down and look at the wood. He came down, he looked at the wood, he saw the mold, verified it was mold.
Do you have something from him that says that? Everybody's just going to flap their gums. Nobody's going to give me any affidavits from anybody saying all the pivotal things.
He's not going to give me an affidavit stating that the wood had mold. He's saying the wood had mold on it because he took the wood back.
What did he say to you? The distributor about taking the wood back.
Just get this guy out of your hair. That's what he said to me.
So the contractor tells the plaintiff, hey, this wood has mold. Plaintiff has it installed anyway, and now there's a problem. Does the plaintiff have a case here?
No, the contractor explicitly told him that the wood was moldy, so he can't be accountable.
Is there any argument you can make that the plaintiff should win this case?
Absolutely not. The plaintiff was given fair warning. The defendant has every right to do what they're doing.
Fair enough. Eyes wide open, going inside the courtroom.
I'll tell you a conversation I had with Carmine. I called him up and I had a conversation with him, and it was getting heated. And I guess at this point, maybe he hung up on me, but he didn't realize that he actually was still on the phone, and I was listening to his conversation. And I hear him go,
live in perpetual fear of that.
I think it was his wife that he says that this guy's an He says,
oh, he thinks
and I says,
that you are.
I says, Carmine, not for nothing. I mean, I'm not calling you an Why are you calling me an ass?
Because he thinks you're not on the phone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, I just thought it was comical that he called me an but I don't know. But we gave the guy credit.
As my fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Morales, used to say, if the shoe fits, put it on. That's what she said.
No, that's not the case.
All right. Does anybody have pictures of the wood? You have some pictures, right? Let me see your pictures. What I really want are pictures of the second wood, the kill and dry that the distributor brought you.
The kill and dry, I don't have pictures of. I have pictures of the green wood.
Let me see those. See, the problem you have with those pictures is I'm going to see mold on those pictures. There's no doubt about that. But the problem that you have is that what they're saying is, Judge, he had 7 feet of water in there. He has airborne mold. So it's not that we sold him moldy wood. It's that he has mold in his basement. I asked you if anybody from the insurance company had done a mold test, and your answer to me is no. Like, that's only an idiot would do that. Well, no, actually, somebody should have done that. So these pictures show that the wood, once up, does in fact have mold. It kind of works into his theory that it got mold after it was up in your basement.
The first set of pictures, the small set of pictures, was taken by the insurance company. And those pictures show no mold.
Let me see those. Yeah.
These were taken by the insurance company, and it shows no mold in the basement. No mold at all.
What's all that on the wall? It's all black on the wall.
There's no mold on it. It's been like that for months.
Since Sandy?
You're making faces. It's been like that for
I'm making faces because it looks like mold to me.
It's not mold.
These are the pictures the insurance company took?
Right. If I had pictures with mold, would I give it to you?
How about the white stuff? All over the wood there. What the heck's that?
Mold is black.
Yeah.
If it's white, if it's white, it's salt water.
Was there something else you wanted to say?
I just had a journal that I had printed for.
By the way, you went ahead and returned his money, the money for the wood.
Yes, I have.
You undid the transaction for the wood. He also wanted his delivery charges paid, the $25.26. You didn't return that.
No, we did not.
Okay. Well, then what he's suing you for is all the labor that he's incurred that he says is your fault because it was your mold brought in as opposed to his mold. Right? That's what he's suing you for, plus yes. $3,000 in punitive damages. All right, I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the delivery charge. If you decide that you're going to undo the deal, then undo the deal, $25.26. As for the contractor's expenses, it boggles the imagination that you would see mold on wood and both you and your contractor would put it up. That tells me that you're lying about that. And you're insisting that's what happened because that's the only way you think you can recover from him. That's my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Only you're a good... You're a good liar.
All right, so the plaintiff comes out, obviously not happy about the verdict, but it's one thing to claim something, it's something else to actually fully prove it in court to collect damages.
The proof was there. The pictures were there when the insurance company came, and what she saw was not mold. If it was mold, I would have had it removed within... Right away, I saw.
Well, why would a contractor put up wood that was already molded?
I didn't think the wood would be molded, but when he put the wood up after the job was done, then all the mold came out.
What's the opposite?
All right, head right around the corner there with Officer McIntosh. There he goes. All right, so step on in here. What's your feeling on this outcome here?
Well, he had mold in his basement prior to us bringing the material, and the wood is damp, and whenever there's mold, the mold is going to attract to moisture and can turn black.
Well, if you knew about this, why didn't you try to alert him to it?
I didn't know he had mold in his basement.
You didn't know?
No, we sent it, and everything was the best for them.
Is this one of those customers you can't...
Exactly, yeah. We'd be out of business if everybody was like him.
All right, Harvey.
Okay, there's a legal term for this. It's called the duty to mitigate damages, to minimize your damages. Here, the plaintiff did have knowledge that there was a problem with the wood, and by installing it after being warned, the plaintiff caused his own damage, and the plaintiff can't look to the contractor to pay.